The side control position we call 100 kilos is one of the most difficult positions to escape from, and I want you to understand why. It's because my partner is going to block my near side hip. If I can't get my knee in between me and my partner, I can't get my guard back. And so as long as that person is blocking the near side hip, be it with their knee or with their hand, which is what happens at 100 kilos, it's really hard for me to recover the guard. So if I can't bridge into them and shrimp away, I need to disrupt that connection to my own hip. And that's where the escape that we call the ghost escape comes in. In 100 kilos, Jesse's gonna put his hand by my hip, stopping me from getting my knee in. So I'm gonna use my own hand, like a wedge, to disrupt that. A lot of people will call this the spin out escape because you'll notice at the end, that's how I get out, is I spin out to an open guard. So, Jesse's on top, and if he just has our traditional head and arm control, right? You can see that he's controlling my head, he's controlling my arm, and what you can't see is that his knee is blocking my hip, right? So that if I try and bridge into him, I have to clear that. If I get an underhook, and we'll show this from another angle so you can see that knee blockage in a second. If I get an underhook on this side and Jesse does nothing, right? We can come up and come up and take the back, we can come up and tap the knee, all that sort of stuff. But what Jesse can do to stop me from doing any of that is switch to 100 kilos. So he switches his hands, switches his legs. And what you'll be able to see in a second is that instead of his knee blocking, instead now his hand is blocking my hip. And I'll show that from another angle in a second. So what I need to do is get this hand involved and get it between his hand and my hip. So I'm gonna pop, get my hand up, and then my palm goes against my hip as the heel of my hand is out. You'll see a lot of different hand positions. I like to have my hand under his neck so that it's gonna stop him from dropping pressure. Now I can't bridge into him, right, the way I would for the shrimp escape because he's got my hip blocked and all his pressure is that way. So I'm gonna bridge away from him. And as I do that, heels tight to my butt, look away, bridge away, I end up spinning out to a seated open guard. Let's show that from the opposite angle so you can see a little bit more of the blockage. So if Jesse's in head and arm control, look what he's doing with his right leg there. You see how if he keeps his knee against my hip and I try to get my knee in, it's gonna be impossible. If I get the underhook, I could start an escape, so Jesse's gonna switch. Now with his hand by my hip, if I try to do just the shrimp escape, he just follows me with his hand, and it's super easy. It's very frustrating. It's a very frustrating position to escape from, so it's one of my favorite control strategies. So what I need to do is get my hand in and disrupt. So I'm gonna bridge up, pop, pop, and just get my hand down by my hip. As you can see, my palm's sort of against my belt. I need to get this in between his hand and my hip. See where my hand is? There's a lot of different hand positions that we may get into that other people use. I like to use like I'm hitchhiking against his neck because that helps me in the spin. Other people will use their hand position instead of a Darce choke from this position. You should buy Dave Porter's DVDs on the subject. Bring my heels in tight to my butt. I'm gonna bridge away, not in, and as I do, I'm gonna lift with what is now an underhook. And you see that I spin out. If Jesse tries to follow me, I'm in a functional open guard. I can play open guard or I can stand and get away. Let's do that one more time from one more angle. So Jesse's on this side. I get my underhook. If he stays there, I'll get out with the underhook. Instead, he smartly switches his hand position. My hand's gonna come between his hand and my hip. I hitchhike on the near side of his neck, bridge away, spin out escape. And that is the ghost escape or the spin out escape from 100 kilos.